Welcome back to a chat that's going to be full of encouragement, a chat that's going to be full of realness with my friend Reese from Set Apart Garden. So we are just going to let her come on and then we are going to get into it. We did have a live, we were having the best time, and some of you guys said that you could not hear us. So since you guys could not hear us, we went ahead and we're going to just redo it with the hopes that you'll be able to hear us this time. So let me know. Can you hear me now? Whoever's live. There we go. All right. Go. Mimi, tell me why we were having the best time laughing, cracking up. It was so good. And now we realize that you couldn't hear us. But that's okay because bam, just like that, she's back. So they can hear us
Can
now.
y'all
So
hear me?
they can hear us now. Yes, Mimi said yes, yes. So we're live. They can hear us. We don't
Okay.
have much time anymore, but that's okay because we have a little bit of time. So yeah, we did. We had a great time. All right. So um here we have Reese from Set Apart Gardens. Reese, you want to go ahead and just tell us a little bit about you? And today we are going to be talking about the courage to start and just balancing it all. So let's chat.
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. I am Reese from Set Apart Gardens. My husband and I are first generation chicken and lamb farmers. We also are advocating for the youth and Black people in general to get Black to the land. It's very important for us to grow our own food and raise our own meat. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so glad you're here, and we're kind of similar. I have chickens, I have ducks, I have bunnies that I hope to breed for next season, and I have goats. I love my goats. I did have one girl. I had two girls, Cupcake and Ladybug. Cupcake died, so they left me with Ladybug, and she was alone for a few months. So I was blessed with a male goat, Sir Ryloff. And boy, he is very different. He's doing all the things. And I think, Reese, you've had an experience with goats too. Would you share that with us?
Okay, so y'all couldn't hear the last line, but we really just, I was telling her that I always introduce us as a chicken and lamb farm, okay? Because that's what the vision was. And then my husband decided that he wanted goats. Now, we already had a weird experience with butchering goats, right? So we would purchase goats, um, for meat, meaning that they would be on our property for less than 48 hours. And we had one incident where one of the goats that we were just having for meat, we weren't raising him or anything, he was able to get out. And he went out in the road and all this stuff. And some random guy came to our door while my husband's napping on the couch. And he's like, "Look, your goat is out." So ever since then, I said no to goats because I have three babies under the age of 7, and I am not about to leave my children to go in the road and try to wrestle a goat down to the ground to drag him back to our home. So we do have goats. I don't think we caught it on camera, but they have actually given birth on the land as well. And I love, they're cute. They're cute. But the way they're bending my fence back and getting out makes me feel like the meat. It's
Mhm.
like it's really worth it because you damaging my property and I'm not gonna be able to save you. You're a major liability. They're not on my side, but they're cute.
They're
But
cute. They are so
but
cute.
talking to you, I realized, okay, it's right. It's the male goat that's doing that. The
Yeah,
girls they're chill.
they are so
Okay,
chill.
that's what it is. So that kind of helps. You don't want to have too many male goats at a time, anyways.
No,
So
no,
okay,
no.
I see the silver lining.
Yeah. One is the absolute most Possibly two,
Look at
and only
Mimi.
two if you're into a breeding program where you're just like, this first lady and this first gentleman are going to have babies, and then the second goat will be from every girl for the next one, like, if that makes sense. So that the basically the father's not having babies with his daughter. Does that make sense?
Mm,
Yeah.
no,
So
you and my get it. Y'all get it.
I think
I'm
I said it wrong. I think I said it wrong. But if you have A and B, okay, they have kids, then you don't want A and B to have, or if you have an A goat and you have, okay, so for me, I have Ladybug, and let's make it personal. So I have Ladybug and I have Ryloff. So they're going to have babies. But the babies that Ladybug has, I don't want those children to breed with Ryloff, their father. So I have another one, Night, that all of Ladybug and Ryloff's children will be bred by Night.
so
And
you
that's
have
how we'll keep it.
so that
Essentially,
so we don't have incest with the goats.
that's what it is. That's exactly what it is.
Okay.
I just didn't explain it right, but we got it. We got it. But yeah.
No,
And
no,
so I mean that works. And so yeah, those males, like I said, I had the females, they never tried to escape, they never ran away, nothing. I got Ryloff, the moment he was here, he was jumping over the gates and he was standing up on the trees to like eat this. I'm like, what are you doing? They are totally, totally different. And so it's really interesting when you think about balancing, right? Because we're kind of talking about balance, and you have to decide, are you going to be chasing this goat or are you going to be taking care of these babies?
taking care of my babies. Every
Yeah.
can't do it, husband. Love you. Y'all like drive so we can get him home.
Mhm.
Goats. Because for
Yeah.
now, like, not happening. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So we're like you, like I said, in fact, in the sense of that we're first generations, like my mom and dad and grandparents. My grandparents had a garden, but my mom didn't garden. She didn't like have any of her own animals, none of that thing. We didn't even have really animals growing up. And so we're more technically kind of like we're kind of on the cusp between farm, hobby farm, homestead. We're kind of in the cusp of all of it because this might come as a shocker. We're actually not eating any of the meat for ourselves. We're eating the eggs, but what we're doing here is we're selling eggs, hatching eggs, eggs to eat. Selling bunnies, eventually selling chickens, ducks, and goats eventually. So it's not for our consumption. What is for our consumption are the gardens. And so that's why I have about 30 in-ground beds slash raised beds. And so that's where we're growing majority of our produce, our herbs, and then we have a few more, pretty flower gardens and beds and dedicated spaces.
Yeah. Nothing hobby level about it. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, that's legit. Like, it's a business, regardless
Mhm.
if you're consuming it or not. It's definitely not hobby level. It's way too expensive to be a hobby at this point.
Right.
Like,
Listen, this is an expensive hobby.
not
Yeah. Yeah,
not
it's expensive hobby.
beginning of a generational business that can be
Yeah.
passed. So congratulations. That's really amazing. We're thinking about and pretty much gearing ourselves up to start selling eggs as well. So
Mhm.
I'm excited about that.
Yeah. I think that a lot of people we'll get back onto the courage just to start, but I think a lot of people think about, okay, we're going to sell eggs, we're going to get a little bit of money from that, but it's so much more, than
Yeah.
just the eggs. If you have a rooster, now we're talking hatching eggs, and you guys have been following my journey. If you're new here, maybe because I didn't introduce myself, but I mean, essentially, we're very similar. I just have 5 children because you homeschool as well, correct? You homeschool? Yeah, yeah. So I homeschool and I have 5 children from 7 to 16. So yeah, our journeys are very similar, but
But you have some helpers. No?
not really.
Really?
I mean, well, it's like, are we gonna do we force our kids to get out there? I try to make it in a way that they want to, but let's face it, it's hard work, especially what I'm doing right now. Right now, clearing off those beds with all those weeds. You think the kids want to be out there picking weeds? So I try to give them incentives like, listen, you want you want a snack? You want
Hired
to bake
my
something?
role to help me because I'm mulching. I had to pick up the old mulch and I used it. I repurposed it for my row garden,
Mm-hmm.
mulch between the rows. I said, listen, you want this toy? Let's look at it on Amazon. It's $20. Okay. You come out here, you help me, I'll buy it. He did it. Now he has this $10 toy that I already bought. He doesn't even know. I'm like, okay, we got to amp it up. This 3 days worth of work. You got to
Yeah.
out. So, yeah, I mean, I don't force him. So I agree with you. You don't want to force them,
Mhm.
but, I try to incentivize helping.
That's
Yeah,
right.
but I understand what you're saying. Sometimes it's not help, right? I know a lot
Mhm.
of people love to see the kitties on the camera. Oh, it's so cute. But yeah, you're in the way. Move.
Right.
you know?
Well, it's such a fine line, and I think we really have to be we have to use wisdom and discernment because you hear these stories of people who grew up on farms and now they don't want to have a farm of their own, right? But then we want them to learn how to do these things. These are skills that they should have, and that will be bless them later on, in their life as they go throughout these skills and these things that we're giving them. So something that I've been doing for the past almost 2 weeks that has worked, I would say, pretty well overall. For me, is we take a power hour. And so the first hour, four of the kids get out there with me and they give their animals food, water, hay, the animals that need that. And then they help me weed, or I'm weeding, and they're taking the weeds to the compost. Some of them are maybe watering a flower. My daughter's just standing and being cute and noticing all the butterflies and all the things. And so, I mean, they are helping at their level, but again, it's at their level. And so I think sometimes it's easy to get discouraged. And actually, I just posted a video today. I try to post a video once a week, but I just posted one today, and in it I talked about just encouragement for the homesteader, because we can see these farms, we can see these homesteads that have paid help, that have hired help. I'm talking about other homesteaders come to their homestead and do all this stuff with them. Sometimes they bring 15, 20 people. Of course you can get it done in a day. Of course, you can get it done instantly. But what about people who are first generation who have no help? I don't have any family that's actively helping in my life. It's me, it's my
Mm,
husband, and my children. And I said already, I was a homeschool mom. So that means my husband is the provider. That means he's probably working, long hours or maybe even a few extra hours. So that means I need to go out there and I need to get it done. So, like I said, I try to give the children incentives. Um, I tell them, power hour, and then I say, okay, let's go to the store and let's get your favorite snack, just little things. Because what I don't want is to get to a place, when you have more kids, it gets trickier. If all five kids want something for $20, girl, that's $100. I can't afford that. So I have to be careful because how I start. And then I've made the mistake before. And then what I've noticed is that a kid was like, where's my money? Or not, where's my money like that? But essentially, like, oh, what am I going to get? And so I really want to cultivate in them that what you're getting is you're benefiting from this
you
and that this essentially is for you. Yeah. And so someone was asking about the land, but before I talk about that, I wanted to go back to the hatching eggs because what I was saying was that a lot of people start off selling eggs, and that's a great way to start. That's a great thing to do. But as you go forward, you realize that I can hatch, sell hatching eggs. So you guys that have been following me, this is, I don't know, maybe my eighth time incubating something, this particular incubator. I had four incubators. I've incubated the ducks, the chicks, all the things. I'm about to incubate turkeys, but I didn't share that yet. Um, but now, when you sell these hatching eggs, one guy, the most expensive hatching eggs was $100 for four eggs.
mm,
So I can sell this dozen eggs for $4, or I can sell 4 eggs of the right thing, you know, for $100. You see what I'm saying?
Now,
So I'm just sharing it to say, um, you start, yes, but then keep reaching, right? Like keep trying to expand and keep your eyes and ears open for other opportunities. Really quickly, another thing that I have realized is, okay, I can sell this dozen eggs for $4. I can sell these hatching eggs for probably $20 to $60 on average. Yes, totally wow. 20 to 40, $60 per dozen. Or, hear me, I can actually hatch out these eggs and now I can sell the chicks individually, or I can wait until they're a little bit bigger. And in my area, some of these Copper Maran, Americanas, they sell for 25 to possibly $40 per one, larger chick. So I'm saying that to say a lot of people are saying eggs, but I'm just being so real and so transparent. Being a large family mama, being a homeschool mama, trying to live off this land, trying to do this all from scratch, first generation, all that. You don't have a lot of money. There's not a lot of money typically.
yeah,
And so you need to find ways to make money, or you'll be kind of resenting what you're doing. And a $4 dozen of eggs, which to me immediately, like initially was like, oh, that's amazing, until you realize all the other options that are available. So I just
I
wanted to
like
share that.
I like that. First off, I'm all about business. I'm all about it. Okay. I have I have my own business where, I mean, it's not my own, right? We share everything. He is the silent partner, but I'm the face of it. I'm running it, and then we have the family business. And so you have to start somewhere. So for those of you that are listening, and I do want to tie in the question too, how
Mhm.
do you start when you first get on the land? Well, the first thing you need to do is invest in setting the parameters. So, whatever that looks like for your land, I can share that for us, it looked like getting animals. We already had some type of fencing. The fencing is really supposed to be for the children because it's directly in our backyard. We put a trampoline there, and then we ended up putting chickens there, goats there, whatever animals need to be housed there. And we realized, this isn't a play area. This is what we have right now that will suffice as, great housing until we can then reinvest in our land. And like we have now, a couple of different paddocks with our land. For those of you that don't know, we have 5+ acres. And so you do what you can, right?
That's
So
right.
if you're trying to live off the land, then the first and most easiest thing to do is to get chickens. Okay, so if you egg laying chickens, hens, things like that, and then move from there. With us, we got hens and meat birds. Meat birds are kind of seasonal, depending on how you batch them. You can get a lot up front, and when I say a lot, I mean 60 plus. Butcher them, and they'll last you a long time. And so that is the answer to that question. But back to what you were saying, Kristy, I love the mindset. And this is what I'm saying about getting black to the land. This is not some hobby where it's like, oh, we just really like to dig in dirt. Listen, this is hard work and it's a lot of time. Okay.
Girl.
But it's a lot of benefits. One, there is a lot of anxiety and worry about where the heck our food is coming from. So if you wonder how we keep going, it's looking at the world. I don't even watch the news, but the news comes to me, and I'll
Yeah,
tell you right now. And even if I'm going into grocery stores, the prices, all of these different things, it just makes more sense on, especially you with 5 children, a family of 7, and then we are a family of 5. It just financially makes more sense for us to live the way that we do.
that's right.
And so that is how you keep going. It looks harder to you because it's foreign, but it's easier because if I try to fit into the mold of what we were fed when we were, bred in school, the whole taking 5 kids to school, what a nightmare. That's crazy. That's insane. The whole now look at this on a food from a food perspective. We packing lunches or we paying 5 different bills for them to eat lunch and breakfast.
Mm.
Then in the summer, that's a whole thing because I'm not used to feeding them all day. If I choose to outsource their childcare, then that's money. 5 children. I mean, you have to really look at it, and that's why I like the way you were bringing in numbers and you were bringing in levels. I mean, we start off with selling raw eggs that the hens just popped out, but then we
Right.
talk about getting an incubator and selling eggs that can be hatched, and then we keep moving up because it's a business, and so we need to always think lucrative. We need to always think profit, and that
Yeah.
is we could talk about that all day. I'm here.
Yes.
The
Yes.
whole
Yes.
money, like she's always looking at how can we do more with what we.
Mhm.
So amen to that. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to share a few things with you. So, part of the reason that I am doing the 30, so last year, well, let me just kind of start back. So, we used to live in Maryland on
Oh,
0.03 acres.
okay.
0.03 acres.
Hey,
That
I've been
is now, no, no, let me preface for those I'm not saying anything about those of you who have that. That is a blessing to have. It was a
you
blessing for me
are
to have. We owned our own house for almost 9 years. The fact that we were homeowners, the fact that I think I got my first house when I was probably 21. I praise the Most High. Like, let's be very clear. I'm very thankful, but I'm just saying I had 0.03 acres, and it just wasn't a lot with me having. I have 4 boys and 1 girl. I finally got a girl. It wasn't a lot of space, but let me tell you what I did with that. I had the first year I had a square bed, just a little small thing. I grew sunflowers that I didn't know how big they got, and the sunflower's head was bigger than my head, and I got scared and I didn't go back out to the garden. And so then my husband took over the garden. I mean, to see a sunflower taller than you and head bigger than yours, I mean, that is scary. I mean, I never heard anybody talk about this kind of stuff before, but it was so scary to me. It was traumatizing. I couldn't believe a sunflower could get so big. I don't know what land I was living in that I hadn't heard of it, but I hadn't heard of it. So anyway, the next year we did a little tiny, like little fence. Now, mind you, I was a licensed child care provider. So I was taking care of my kids, homeschooling, and taking care of others as well. So we had just a small space that we had a little 2 beds that year. Okay, we needed more space for the daycare kids, etc. So then we moved it up. Listen to this. We moved it up to our balcony. And on my balcony, I placed 3 raised beds. I'm telling you, when there is a will, there is a way. I had raised beds on a balcony and I had pots. And when I tell you, I had kale, I had tomatoes, I had cucumbers. I mean,
wow.
they were so beautiful. I mean, the garden was lush and producing and thriving. I say that to say it's not about where you're at physically, but it's about where you're at mentally and where you're at spiritually. And if you're able and willing to do the work, if you're willing to do the work wherever you are, you'll eat the good of the land. So fast forwarded, we found this property is 6.22 acres here in Virginia. So that's what we're sitting on right now. And we couldn't afford to put up fencing all around 6 acres. Like, it's just not possible. So when I thought about what is the most important thing to me here, it wasn't doing a thing on the inside. It wasn't doing, all this, stuff that people, no, I need to eat. I need
Oh,
to know that I can feed my babies.
you got to do a
Okay.
series at this point
We need to
because
do a series.
you bringing up stuff that no, for real, it really does need to be talked about amongst the women.
Yeah.
Mine. Did you hear
Yes.
what she said? She wasn't thinking about having a white kitchen, y'all.
But let me tell you, this is so hard. And I love that we can pull this out really quick because when you see some of these people on Instagram and YouTube, sometimes it can make you feel less than, left out, lonely. It can make you long for things. It can change your perspective and your idea. I came from 0.03 acres to 6.22 acres, but I'm not being thankful and happy and I'm content because I'm looking at somebody else's kitchen and because I'm looking at somebody else's yard or because I don't have a walkway. So what? I can just walk. I have feet. Like, I can walk, and I think that we can get so sidetracked and miss so much by looking at somebody else. And that's really what the Most High has really been dealing with me about. So our priority was the food. So we started with the gardens. We did get like a little cheap fencing that we put up around there. And then we had that the first year, the second year. This will be our third summer. And this last year, we added 4 additional beds. Well, I had a whole flower farm. And, with the prices being double almost in a grocery store, my husband was like, "Do you think that we need to grow flowers or do you think we need to grow food?" And at first I was like, "I'm a flower, internally now. I wasn't popping off to him, but I was like, I'm a flower farmer. I want to grow flowers." But then I started thinking about that thing. But we do need to eat. And any excess that I have, I can sell it. So now, not only can I sell, or not only can we eat, consume our food, my goal this year is to be able to grow 50% of our food. So that's why I'm growing so big. But
Do it.
anything extra that I have,
Yeah.
your girl is selling it. And I feel like the more you have, the more marketable you are. So now, not only can you get chicken eggs, duck eggs, chickens, and ducks, but you can get vegetables, fruits, and herbs.
Oh, I love it. Come on and
And,
talk to us.
and so you mentioned your
Oh,
business. I
folks,
want to.
are you gonna sell your
Yeah, I do. I was just gonna say I do. I never share it, but I do make soap and bath bombs and body butters and all the natural products and all the natural things. And so I have a shed that we've been cultivating and we've been working on. So in that shed, you can come and get all of that stuff. And now this is how you're sustainable. This is how you leave something to your family. And even if I didn't have that shed, I would make a stand, girl. Okay. I would make a stand and make it as cute as you can. And I want to shout out a Northwest Flower Farm. Anyway, she encouraged me indirectly because she used to sell these $10 bouquets of flowers. And I think she talked about when she would put out, she would sell 5 or 6 for the day. And I started thinking about it like 5 or 6 for the day, $10, that's $60 a day.
yeah.
I was like, wait a minute, that's the income.
Food, you still can cook your husband dinner, you still can do all the things. That's what we're talking about.
And so I want to encourage the people really to think again, to dream again, to envision again, to ask the Most High to give you sight beyond sight. I know what you can see. You might see this barren land with nothing on it, but ask Him to give you sight beyond sight so that you can, like you said, when you started working, you got a vision of how things were going to work, whether you forgot it or not, whether you drew it out or not. That stuff is kind of irrelevant, but ask him for vision. Ask him to show you how to use what you have. Even if you're in an apartment, someone reached out to me that had an apartment, and I showed her how to set up like how to set up just flower pots. Homegirl was growing tomatoes,
You
cucumbers, squash,
know.
all the stuff. And guess what? If you like organic, I'm gonna just be honest, I like organic. And that's kind of why we started this whole lifestyle. Organic peppers, $3. Organic cucumbers, $2, $3, you know? So let's
Yeah.
get to, I see a few more things here. I want to get to those before we have to go. Um, I like that which she said, be conformed by do not conform to the pattern of this world, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Homeschooling, stay at home mama myself, and I manifest in the space and opportunity to grow, homestead and self-supply. I'm ready to soak up all the knowledge and gems. Mimi said, amen. I love that mindset. What are the best veggies and herbs to start with? And her soap is amazing, y'all. Mimi, I love you. I just started my garden, never grown anything in my life. I started with green beans and cucumbers because they grow well in the summer where I live. Mimi, you hit the hammer on the net. I was gonna answer her question with the answer of what is the best vegetable and herb to start with? The vegetable and the herb that you're gonna eat. Whatever
I
you
promise.
like, whatever you're gonna eat, that's what you
I,
grow, boo. Don't get on here and go buy 1,000,001 seeds because somebody you follow said that, because somebody you saw somebody plant that and you're wondering, you grow it, you don't like it, your family don't like it, the stuff is wasted, the seed is wasted, the soil is wasted, your money is wasted, and then you're miserable trying to eat something that you don't like. What do you like? What do you cook with? What is your staple? That is what you grow. And I don't want to be like, I hope I'm not coming off the wrong way. Like, but I'm passionate about this because if you've never had to turn down a meal, or if you've never had to see, we have sensitivities. So that's how I started making soap. My daughter's skin would itch so bad that she would bleed.
yeah.
And so I mean, I tried all the natural, all the organic, and none of it worked. So when I started making my own soap, and I noticed her skin was healed and she wasn't doing anymore, I was like, okay, I have allergies. I have like sensitivities to some of these things they're putting in the produce. And so when I was giving birth to two of my children, my throat was swollen up from something that I ate that I shouldn't have ate. And giving birth that way, I was like, this is ridiculous. So I noticed when I started growing my own stuff, I haven't been having as many reactions where my throat feels like it's swelling up and stuff like that. So I choose the lifestyle I choose for ourselves, but also that works for me and for my health, but also knowing that I'm growing something organic for a fraction of the cost. So everything that I eat, peppers, you know tomatoes, cucumber, we eat it all. Book child, kale, spinach. I mean, every single thing. And then once you figure out what you like, what grows well in your area, then maybe the next year you can experiment with some other things. I'm not saying that you can or you shouldn't. I'm just saying focus on the main thing. What is it that you're putting in your grocery cart every single time you go to the store? I'm just charging my phone. And then that is what you focus on growing in your garden. So if you like salsa, tomato sauce, grow a ton of tomatoes. But if you don't find that you don't even like tomato sauce and salsa, why would you even grow tomatoes if you don't like to eat them? So make a list of all the things, or just take a mental note of all the things that you cook, all the things that you love, all the things that your children love, and that is what you grow.
Yep. I use my grocery list, and that's what I did because I was. That's why I started laughing. I was the one who. Well, first off, my husband grew the cucumbers because I come from a family where, I'm kind of, I would visit Georgia, play in the dirt, pick up pecans and put them in the bucket, go with my granddad to, I don't know, get some money for cans. So I kind of knew a little bit about it, about country living.
Hmm.
But then I would go home, Jacksonville, Florida, city life, fast life, conveniences, no goats, no lambs. We didn't have a dog, none of that stuff. And so I kind of got influenced by my husband. Like he started the garden, he took care of the garden, and I'm a helper. So I would go outside and water the garden, same with the chickens, and we started doing this on point 0.4 acres or something around that neighborhood. And we had like one or two beds, and we had at one point we had literally like over 20 chickens. And I'm like, husband, how many chickens do we have back there? Because we're in suburbia. And he, oh, we only have 10. I went out there and counted almost 30 chickens. He gets carried away. And you could tell from the look on his face, he literally didn't even know.
Wow,
Okay. So I grew a love for them. And so basically, I guess if you start doing it, you'll figure out which parts you love and which parts are necessity.
that's right.
But I was the one that, would prune and harvest these cucumbers that I don't like. I don't mind specific cucumbers, but I don't really like cucumbers. I like pickles, but sometimes I'm like a I I like them, but I'm a seasonal person anyway. Like I like salads, but in the winter, I don't want to eat salad. I want to eat something hot.
Got it.
So think about that. I need to think about, okay, what can I grow in the summer that I can preserve to throw in soups? You know,
That's right.
what give me a faster harvest now that I can eat? But then also also have to balance. I'm just getting started.
Mhm.
So what can I do with what I have right now where I'm not maxing out my funds or my energy because it has to go to my children, to my husband, and stuff like that. So you have to really be led by the spirit. And I know me
Yeah.
and Chris were talking about that earlier about being led by the spirit and letting God really again give you that vision,
Yep.
but also you need to look at him for the strength
Yes.
to fulfill that vision and understand that okay, he's carrying me. So all I got to do is get out here and get the weed eater or get whatever it is that your portion is, get the tool in your hand and look to him. That's why on most of my videos I'm always telling my subscribers, y'all see my phone, I got my Bible app, I'm out when I'm outside, I'm getting fed by the word. That's what really helps me. So if you really are looking for help, of course, we can be vessels, but we aren't the answer. God is. You need to really get in a quiet space where you can really sit down and say, okay, God, what do you want me to do? Because I guarantee you, He wants you to do something that relates to you growing some kind of your own food. Now, if you're in an apartment, then maybe you're growing, the herbs so that you can replace your seasonings. But let me tell you, He's gonna have you start somewhere because
Yeah.
you're both Kristy and I both just said we didn't have a lot of land, but we used what we had
Girl.
and He blessed us with more. And more is not most, I mean, it doesn't always look like, yeah, 6 acres. First off, 6 acres for a black family. Come on, in Virginia, because I just moved from Virginia. Our first house was in Virginia. Virginia is not cheap. That's wealth right there. Wealth bracket. You can't be looking at, oh, I got 6 acres, but it's a lot of old appliances in here. And you really got to,
Mhm.
right. You really just gotta figure out, okay, what's important. Because the beautiful thing about them moving in their home and focusing on what's most important
Yeah.
is because that money that they're gonna get is not only going to help them sustain their garden, but then they'll be able to come back in the house and reinvest in the home.
Mhm.
How it works in order instead
Yeah.
of us always looking at other people coveting
Yes. Yes.
God's law and covetousness
Mhm.
and trying to go get things on our own and then looking at Him to always get us out of stuff.
Yeah.
Slow living, spirit living. It's a mindset switch. And
Yes.
you're not born with it.
No.
You have to pursue Him. And once you can
Daily.
to get in the word and do productive things that pleases the Most High, He will bless you with more and more wisdom and insight to start talking like me and Kristy are talking,
Yeah.
like money
Yeah.
from like nowhere, right? From dirt
Mhm.
to profitability. That's
Dirt.
beautiful. No,
Dirt.
it's real dirt.
It's so real. I have a few more people. There have a few more things that I want to get to some of these responses and stuff. But I did write down a few things. Actually, I can't even read that writing, so we'll skip that one. But I wanted to say we should be excited. I think that what's on us will transfer to our children. And so if our children hear us like, oh my, I gotta get back outside today, they're gonna feel like, oh, I gotta get. But if they're like, come on, what can we do today? What we gonna do today? What's our and that's why I said we have an hour. Okay, and I have a meeting. All right, guys, this will we getting done today. We're ready to get it done. And they don't have more energy than me. I bring it. I'm the one who wants to. I come full force. Let's go. I come full of encouragement, full of things. And I like how you said you turn on your Bible app because I was watching a YouTuber the other day, and actually it's related to the video that I just posted. I was doing those beds. I think I had been in that bed for 4 hours in that just simply chopping waiting, and I was so weary. I mean, physically, but just spiritually. I'm like, if I have to see another weed, if I have to chop one more time, and I turned on a sermon. And I
Woo!
typically turn on, Torre or Sarah. But anyway, I turned on a sermon. So whatever you like or whatever music inspires you or lifts you up. And I'm telling you, immediately I felt my strength coming back to me. And so it is really important that although I love these YouTubers and I want to watch and support, there's some times when you just need the word itself. Okay, it totally gave me the boost. So I wanted to say that. I wanted to give a tip, and then I wanted to give a special shout out to one of my subscribers and friends over the Naked Gardeners. They are so amazing. So if anybody is here and you already have your land and you're looking for American breast meat birds, the Naked Gardeners sell the meat birds and they actually sell the hatching eggs. And I got some of my hatching eggs from them, the bigger ones that are out there. They were actually the first eggs that I got. It was from them. So they're really, really sweet. They are the Naked Gardeners. And they have such an amazing page. It's NAKID. And actually, I wanted to read one of the comments that she said, we started out urban gardening on 0.17 acres. And now they are just doing absolutely amazing things. Her husband, they're just doing amazing things. And so where you start is not where you're going to end. But I wanted to leave a tip lastly, and I'll get into these comments and then we'll try to wrap it up. What I wanted to say is about tomatoes, because, okay, so we know we need to start somewhere. So even if we just start with the garden and then maybe start with a few chickens, then we can come back a year or two later and we can add all the other things. Okay, but now all this produce is coming, everything is coming. What do I do now? So if you have a canner, obviously you're gonna, do some canning. I have a couple of different canning videos, but what if you don't have a canner? What if you maybe can get one later? And what if you don't know what to do? Well, I have just a quick, simple tip that I wanted to talk about with tomatoes. You harvest all your tomatoes, stick them in the freezer. Don't do anything to them, just stick them in the freezer. And then once it's cold outside, pull them out. And then you can process them for tomato sauce, for salsa, for, what tomato paste, whatever, ketchup, whatever things that you're doing. But the reason why I'm telling you that is
Mm.
because it's so cool to want to plant all this stuff and grow all this stuff. Yes, it's absolutely amazing. But here's the deal. What about when all the stuff comes? And you
Real.
have to pick everything at one time, and it's like, okay, well, it's like, whoa, what's going on here? Because everything has a lifespan, so to speak, right? So some things you need to take care of that day, some things you have longer. So knowing that you can take your tomatoes today, freeze them, take care of them later, kind of frees your mind, like, okay, let me take care of this right now, let me take care of that right now. So hopefully you guys will find that helpful. It wasn't something that I realized or found out, I think, until like last year. And so I always want to share that because for me, especially having 30 raised beds and or 30 row beds, that's a lot of harvest that's going to be coming.
Yeah, that's
We
a lot.
can't eat all of that, and we have to process all that so that we can have it for the upcoming year. So I hope that really helps somebody. I did want to get to a few more of these other comments. I want everybody to feel like they're being acknowledged and loved on. Thank you so much for coming. We so appreciate you from the bottom of our hearts. We only want to encourage and motivate you guys because we've been there. Like, we're still on our journey, but we've started our journey. And so we had the courage to start it. And we want to just give that to you, that grace, just to start with everything, with anything. Use what you have until you can get what it is you want. So she says, have you grown everything from seeds or have you used actual food to plant in the soil? We
I
have food
think start.
sensitivity. Oh, go ahead, love.
I think she means, do you start everything from seed or do you purchase the starts?
Okay, well, I think she's talking to you too, but I
Oh,
typically try to do seeds when you're just doing a couple of things. A 4-pack is typically about $2, maybe 2.50. That's not really bad. But when you're talking about needing thousands of things to go into the ground, we can't afford that. Like, I mean, that is expensive. So you need to then get that pack of seeds, baby, where you can get 30 to a pack for $1, for $2, for $3. And I will say, invest in a good seed. I planted something out there, nothing came up. It was the seeds that I used. So if you're going to be wasting time and energy and space that you could have been doing something else, sometimes it's better to try to get a organic seed, a non-GMO seed, a natural seed. Just I know there's so many thoughts and opinions out there, but we only get one temple. Our bodies are a temple. We only get one life. We only get one body. And if you invest a little bit in a seed now, you'll reap and benefit so much later. That's my thought process. Um, over that. But there's nothing wrong with getting transplants, but they're expensive. And I'm trying to find the last comment that I saw. But also when I was at the garden store, they have tomatoes and they're like $6. And even some of the other stuff, like, I don't know what happened. I'm not gonna like name off names, but these plants are like $6 this
they
year. I'm like,
they
now
are
you I was like, what happened? You talk about needing 1,000 of something that's $6 a piece, $6,000. I don't even have 600. I don't even have 60. I'm just being so transparent. So it's like you have to find ways that that would be better. Okay. Uh, but I do want to say you can actually use food to plant in the soil. So transplant seeds, but you can also take a tomato, slice it in half, add the tomato to your garden and go. You can take some of your lavender, take some of your herbs, root them into the root them in water, and then you can transplant them into the soil. So those are things that can save you money. You can cut off the suckers of the tomatoes, root those, and now you have a whole nother tomato plant. You can buy a tomato for $6 if that's your only option and cut off suckers and maybe have 3 or 4 tomato plants. So there are things you can do even, with that being said. I use seeds. When I say I just started, I mean the seeds went in the soil 2 weeks ago. And Mimi, I like applaud you that you did that
Yeah.
because I still have some seeds that haven't went into the ground yet. So girl, it's okay. And that's the thing. Like sometimes people make you feel pressure for not starting earlier, but we get a frost here every single year. And I think it was last year. All the farmers were in tears. All these people that have been farming their whole lives lost over half of their crop in my local area. And I was like, I'll start late. I'm not losing all my stuff. When you think about the money and time and effort to just lose it all, no. She says I started growing cucumbers from seeds about a month ago and they didn't make it. So guess what? You can start today. Nothing like the present, and you have enough time. So don't even worry. Mimi said, now I'm scared. Mimi, don't be scared. The seeds want to grow. They want to grow. They really do. They want to grow. So don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. Okay. Okay. How are American breasts doing? No, I didn't get the American breast from you guys. Remember, I got the barnyard mix. And so I got the ones that were pretty much all blue. No, I didn't get the American breast, but I know Dom got the American breasts. But I was thinking that I should have got American breast. I got 2 dozen, just barnyard mix. Um, it says, okay, poor thing. I'm sorry for your loss. Are you going to plant some more? Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so Naked Runner or Naked Gardener, have a good day. We're going to be leaving here too, but I do want to say, she said, are you going to plant some more? That is my last piece of advice for you is to don't plant one thing. Don't be a one-hit wonder, right? Plant one thing and then come back another 2 weeks, another 2 weeks. Like you should be every single day. If you're serious, you should be sowing, you should be weeding, you should be watering every single day. You should be doing that because do you want 1,000, for example, string beans to come in one day? Or do you want 250 this day? I got time to process it. I can take a break. Then I can come back 2 weeks later. I can process some more. I can take a break. I can come back. So stagger it. And if you plant something that's why I said don't worry about what you haven't got into the ground. That's perfect. So what I try to do is plant a few early to have a few larger things to put into the ground. And then I put seeds into the ground. I want harvest at all times. I want to harvest all the time. I never want to not have an harvest. And I don't grow from scraps, so I don't know about that. All right. So my love, I think your time is almost up. Reese, what else? What is your final thoughts and remarks before we go?
I think this turned into the Holy Spirit moved this into how to start and not the how to keep going. Right. So
Yeah. Well, no, that's what I wanted. It was the courage to start and balancing it
oh,
all. And I feel like we hit it all. I feel like that this everything was in the vein, the courage to start and balance it. Because as a mom, as a wife, as a homesteader, as a business person, it's a lot. And we talked about how to balance it. And it's the who how can it's just the Holy Spirit. It's not us, it's our faith. That's how we balance it. And the courage to start is just that I don't care where you are, what you got going on,
let me see.
just try.
Y'all can't.
Tell people how they can reach you. And while you're doing that, you can reach me over on Instagram at Grace.Filled Gardens. It's actually Grace dot field underscore gardens. And then my channel, of course, is Grace.Filled Homestead. And Reese, tell the people how they can reach you if they want to reach out or have questions or anything like that.
If you have questions, definitely come and subscribe to Set Apart Gardens. Um, and you can definitely also reach us at Set Apart Gardens on our Instagram. I don't know if that's the real name. I don't know. But here are my last closing words for you. Just get started and keep your ear to God for him to every morning when you wake up, Some people are every morning or every Sunday. Like I kind of do both, where I plan my week out and just
Hmm.
do like a rough grid of all of my different responsibilities. I don't try to max myself out with 50 things. Well, it ends up being 50 when you think about all your responsibilities. But if you get 2 or 3 tasks per responsibility, homeschool goals, what's on the menu. I don't try to cook every day. I try to cook enough where it's leftovers, where I'm cooking every other day or something like that.
Hmm. Hmm.
Get up, understand that we're meant to work and rest. Six
Yeah.
days, God worked and he rested for one day. So it's going to be okay to
Yeah.
work. We need to get out of this mindset of having this lax life, but having all of this fruit. We should
Right.
be working. Nothing wrong with being a hardworking woman. However, you want to be in order in that, because then you also have the blessings of the Most High with you. So, in order with that is feeding your children mentally and obviously physically, helping your husband in ways that he needs help. If your
Hmm.
husband is working all day, then you need to get involved in the efforts that he's making to feed the family, whether that is gardening, whether that's the animals. And we all are scared. I hope you know that. We were talking earlier about the goats. I'm low key finicky around my animals. But listen, we just keep moving forward and we know that it'll get better. There's no greater time to start than now. And that's really
Hmm.
all I say.
Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. I do want to mention one more thing. This channel is kind of new. My main channel, I've been on YouTube actually for 8 years. I'm there for Grace.Filled. So freezer meals, batch cooking, canning, all the things. So tour, all that kind of stuff is there. As well as all my homeschool for the past 8 years. So if you have questions about even the homeschooling, that portion, I have that there. But I noticed that the people there weren't interested in anything garden homestead related. So you guys
Oh,
get
you
me.
got 2 channels.
Yeah, so this is a branch off my main channel. So my main channel, I've been here for 8 years and I've got about 5,000 subscribers there. And I just branched off over here so I could share my stuff with people who really want to to hear it
What's
because my it's Gracefield, just plain Gracefield.
okay, got it.
Yeah. So I just want to say that with you guys. I love you guys. If you're here from my channel, let me know who I should be talking to next. Make sure that you go over and show love to our dear friend and sister. If you're here from her channel, just again, thank you. So thank you for all being here. Have a great day. And let us know in the comments below when we get off here if you think we should do this again. Because I think that we should do it again. We should grab our tea and we should have another little chat.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm just praying blessings upon all of you guys. I'm praying that your gardens, your homes, your families, that it's just well in every area of your life. So until the next live, blessings.